I feel the winner, the loss, or whatever, is that the Lina would use the Euls to set up for the fight, and then just immediately die right after. Like, there was almost no time for her to get anything off. Like, half the time, she wasn't able to get her ultimate off as a result, because she just got stunned by Bulldog and then chased down and killed. Like, there are just so many things that went wrong at that point, and so I think that they need some sort of buffer between the two heroes for her to be able to survive.
5 seconds
So I just think that this type of lineup is a lot better.
Phantom Lancer picked into the Earthshaker. Abraxas still continuing to value that hero more than anything else, really. I mean, Lina's still strong versus PL. Earthshaker is obviously a kind of direct counter to the Phantom Lancer. I'm very surprised that they're willing to go for this. I like this choice. At this point, though, when you have an Earthshaker and Lina combination, you do need to have a defensive support, right? On the side of Abraxas, so they take away probably the best defensive support that's out there in the Dazzle.
I guess they just really feel comfortable. If you were wondering why I didn't reply, I was just kind of looking like strangely. I was like, how do I figure this out? I mean, the Phantom Lancers, it just feels like it's a comfort hero for a lot of carry players. Like, there just might be some people that are really comfortable. They're like, okay, we really just feel like the Phantom Lancers are a hero. We don't practice gyro a lot, or we don't see it being taken, but PL's a hero that we can take pretty stably in a lot of games. So they probably just might keep going back to it, regardless of, for example, if an Earthshaker's in the game. But I mean, Alliance are happy to oblige, right? They're saying, okay, you can take it. We'll just take the Earthshaker every time.
Yeah. Broodmother and the Wisp are actually banned away by Abraxas. Darkseer taken out by Alliance. Queen of Pain is actually going to be the choice here from Alliance, which does change things up. Queen of Pain can still be run as a safe lane core. There's also the possibility that Lina could be run as a support. We also don't know where the Earthshaker is going to be. It could actually be a dual lane with the Queen of Pain, the dual off lane that's been run pretty frequently. In fact, I would imagine that Earthshaker, Queen of Pain, well, not as aggressive as Queen of Pain Undying, would actually be very nice as a dual off lane.
It's okay, but I think in this game you might... I don't know, I think if you go for example, if you go for the Earthshaker, Queen of Pain, if it's, for example, a Silencer support, I think you're going to struggle. And because the Silencer can just trade hits with you, if that Tusk is off lane, you just pick one more support hero that can deal and stop them from getting aggressive or running the dual lane. But it's not a terrible option. The Lina could very well just be a support too. There's a lot of different ways that they can take this. Like, all three of these heroes, the great thing about them is that they can pretty much go anywhere, but that actually secures that the anti-mage is going to be in the safe lane. I would probably expect then for... They need another defensive support.
Spirit Breaker.
Or they need an offlaner.
Okay, so is Tusk going to be our 4 position, like last time, and Spirit Breaker takes over the offlane?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Spirit Breaker is one of the better ways to deal with Anti-Mage too.
Yeah.
Like, Spirit Breaker and Silencer are both decent. You're going to build a Manta style on the Anti-Mage eventually, but for example, if the Spirit Breaker runs in and bashes you once or twice, you might just panic and pop the Manta, because you don't want him to be able to get the ult off as well, and then the Silencer just catches you with the Global Silence. But I guess we'll see like how this goes. It just depends on if they want to run the Queen of Pain off, like you said. They might just give it to Bulldog, and they can run the Lina mid. I guess the Alliance are just going to wait to see what Praxis decide to ban out, and kind of gauge based on the picks.
I feel like there's... I really like Alliance's draft much more here. Just because of the fact that I don't see any way for Abraxas to start this. Right? Like, Silencer is good harassment early on, but he's not necessarily a great fighting hero, except for those, like, later on, those big team fights where he gets a really good global silence. Spirit Breaker is, you know, kind of... He can skirmish a bit, and he can be a good team fighter, but for me, I'm just looking at it, and I just don't see any way for them to assure that they do win the early lane phase hard enough that they can actually take those mid-game team fights, whereas Alliance, I feel very confident about that, right? There's a lot of kill power in the Queen of Pain alone. Same goes with the Lina. Earthshaker rotating around can cause a lot of chaos either way, and the Anti-Mage is just generally a tough hero to lane against, kind of no matter what, as an offlaner. Whether he's burning your mana or he has that level 6 kill potential against you, he's going to be tough. There's going to be, I think, plenty of opportunities for Alliance to pick up kills early and just start with a net worth advantage that never lets Abraxas get into the game.
You also talked about it, I think, earlier in the cast where you were talking about how you needed some way to counter the Phantom Lancer. The Gyrocopter, the Lash is taken away, so you don't have those. You don't have the Darkseer or anything like that, and so you need some sort of cleave.
Yeah,
a way to get through it.
Hero.
Yeah, because typically you're going to see the anti-mage's response to heroes like Queen of Pain, Leshrac, or Storm, where you've always got the Mana Void option available to you, but
yeah.
In this game especially, I think the anti-mage, it's gonna be purely for the Phantom Lancer, and it's probably just something that Loda wants to play, more importantly.
Speaking, there's another Battle Fury hero, and I was just kind of thinking about this. Do you feel that the Ember Spirit is countered harder by the Silencer than the Animage is?
Yeah, for sure. Because the Ember Spirit, it's easier to open up on him.
Yeah.
Because he relies so heavily on his Fire Remnants to be able to survive. Like, if you can catch him out with, for example, let's say Spirit Breaker gets like a Shadow Blade, or he smokes, he hits you from Vogue, and then you get Global Silenced, then there's a very good chance that just 2 heroes alone could kill you. Whereas an Anti-Mage has the Manta available to him and the Blink at all times.
Ember Spirits, there are builds where they go Manta, but I was actually thinking like it was the basic skills that are very different. Animage, who can't go for stats but has that spell shield, whereas Ember Spirit, if you catch him without Flame Guard, like, he's done for. Like, forget about the taking away the mobility of jumping over. Like, without Flame Guard, you take away so much of the hero, right? So, if you can get that kind of jump on him, the hero just generally falls apart.
I think that Ember is kind of a soft counter.
Yeah.
To Phantom Lancer rather than an ultra hard one. You rely so much on Sleight of Fist.
Yeah, I guess another problem would be the difference between Animage and Ember Spirit, and you're the one who really brought this up in previous casts. Ember Spirit is not a hero that goes uphill.
Yeah.
Very tough for him to go uphill, whereas Animage is the kind of hero that gets 6-slotted as fast as possible, and he certainly can go uphill once he's got that 6-slot, so you can end the game much faster than I would say an Ember Spirit can. You go late with an Ember Spirit, you still are, as you said, kind of a soft counter to the PL, but it's still a PL late game. It's still very dangerous with. Speaking of Ember Spirit, it's actually going to be picked up here by Abraxas while Witch Doctor goes the way of Alliance.
The reason for that, and this is actually a really neat point to make, is that when there's going to be a timing where the Ember Spirit is actually really good against Queen of Pain and the Anti-Mage, just because of the Searing Chains. Like, that's one of the best, essentially 2 Frostbites on 2 separate targets that you can get off in a fight. And these are mobility cores that can't blink out of it. So, fantastic counter. I think it's actually LGD that was running that as a counter to whenever they saw Anti-Mage and a Queen of Pain, it was like, oh, we're going to take the Ember right here.
He's good versus Lina as well, right? Because if he has a Fire Remnant out, he instantly jumps to it and shouldn't be hit by that Light Strike Array combo.
The only issue with it, I guess, is that we just talked about how hard it is to go high ground. This lineup is not designed to go high ground.
No. But it is designed to just stall out the game as much as possible until you get, like, 60 minutes plus, and then you should be good to go.
Yeah, I mean, if it gets to 60 minutes plus, but the way that you really stop pushes is being able to creep clear, and they have almost no creep clear. Like, their laning phase actually has to go well. Like, there's no other way around it. Because Alliance can just steamroll them, and Anti-Mage picks up, like, 40-minute items, where he's 6-slotted and he can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, this is really going to come down to whether or not Abraxas can just do a lot in the laning phase.
Alright, game number 2, Alliance did take game number 1, but it was pretty close. Abraxas put up quite a good fight. Once again, they're running a lineup that is perhaps a bit peculiar, such things as the Silencer. Zenigata is going to be playing that one. At Speed of Light is going to be playing the mid Ember Spirit, which is faced up against S4's Queen of Pain, who dominated the last game. We've got an off-lane Tusk for now, though we'll see how much Luffy wants to rotate over to that off-lane as well. Against the defensive tri-lane, Loda, Ake, and Minuts. Or, not Minuts. No, it's, yeah, Minuts. So they're, yeah, normal off-lane Earthshaker.
Of course. There's some lag immediately. Bulldog says Franker Z. Oh, I can type in here. I'm not muted in here.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Blitz is a cancerous player and got muted.
I can't believe that happened. The game before, I didn't even say anything. Life.
That's right. If you guys meet Blitz in a pub, be sure to report him for terrible
People
voice
do that a lot.
communication.
I love it.
Remember when the report system first came out and you could just report people?
Yeah, it was
Even
reported for
without
like
having a
10,000 days or something. Good stuff. But alright, so Loda, he already levels up the Blink. Pretty standard. Usually a lot of people wait, but I think in this situation it's perfectly fine. And the bottom lane rune, nothing funny is going to happen. The Ember Spirit needs it so badly. Because he has to get the salve immediately, I think.
Oh, against Queen of Pain?
Yeah.
Because you can't... The Flame Guard just doesn't soak up enough damage at level 1, right? So it's... Oh, you actually go Sleight... So this... You Sleight of Fist dodge, right? In order to dodge the dagger?
The problem with this, though, is that it's still a 30-second cooldown. And Shadow Strike is only 16.
Right.
So, yeah, it is pretty neat. But it just doesn't do anything from you. Like, okay, so he's going to get that dodge off, so I guess it's okay.
Yeah, so he dodges the early damage, still gets hit by a cask. Luffy comes forward. It looks like he's just going to chase away the enemy support, so we're still left with that 1 versus 1.
Snatched from your grasp.
Meanwhile, our off-lane, Admiral Bulldog, once again doing the exact same thing we saw last time. He's dealing with a support that doesn't necessarily ensure kill power, especially at level 1, so with this block, he's essentially trading regen in exchange for CS. And that's perfectly fine. Meanwhile, our top lane, Pwn as the Tusk, is not going to have nearly as good a time as he did last time. In fact, you can see already, Cask, Light Strike, a right nice snowball dodge, and will be able to get away because of that. He'll take a lot more damage from the right clicks, but he will survive.
I think my nuts actually should have just landed at the same time.
Yep.
Like, there's no reason to wait for that. Like, he's trying not to stun up, or stack up the stuns, but I think in that scenario, especially when Loda commits with a blink already, you know that you have to kill him in that initial burst. There's no chase ability after that.
So, missed opportunity. Middle lane, Ember Spirit. Looks like he got through the lane decently well. He's now got that level 2 Flame Guard, which allows him to be able to soak up the Shadow Strike, which is why S4 is probably not going to go with the 2 level of Shadow Strike build, right? You don't go that against an Ember.
It's not common at all, no. Going for the Scream of Pain to burst it off is more important, especially since your ultimate is pure, so it's just going to cut through anyways. So it's important that you just get the levels of Scream of Pain.
Yeah.
But the Ember Spirit, after the laning phase, does quite well against the Queen of Pain, so S4, he's just going to have to dominate the lane as hard as he can early during these first few levels, and he is right now. He's doing a really good job of it.
I was about to say, in a way, that Sonic Wave being pure damage can be a detriment to you in this lane, right? If Ember Spirit sees the opportunity to be aggressive on you, and you're left up against that Flame Guard, you can't actually take it off in the later levels. Oh, top lane, they actually do get the first blood. Pwn goes down, we missed it in true Toby 1 fashion.
Oh, in this mid lane, he doesn't actually have the Sleight of Fist available.
Tick, tick, tick. Yeah.
He was going to use it, but no matter what, he was dead in that scenario. Just a really good rotation by the Earthshaker.
That's definitely the power of the offlane Earthshaker, who's able to be very successful as a ganker pre-level 6, whereas most other offlaners can't.
Alright, so laning phase right now, you definitely favor Alliance. Like, the Anti-Mage is getting a lot more farm than the Phantom Lancer. The Queen of Pain is doing so well against the Ember Spirit, especially after that first blood. And this is not something that Abraxas, I think, can really afford, because their laning phase has to go well. Or at least it has to go above average. I guess the Spirit Breaker can still go around making space, but it's going to be a little bit rough, especially since Pwn is having such a hard time at top.
Yeah, I really don't see many opportunities for Spirit Breaker, especially, like, they have, I would say, a pretty good ward. They chose to put their river ward in the bottom lane rather than top, which I think gives you a lot more control against the Spirit Breaker. So if S4 sees it coming, the Spirit Breaker doesn't have any other options. As you said, Pwn isn't doing well enough in the top lane for him to rotate top, so...
Alright, let's see. I want to see some 17% right now.
Why? Why are you such a Alliance hater, Blitz?
I'm not biased towards... When I cast, no bias. I just want to see some good old Spirit Breaker Dota.
You know, that's what every caster says.
It's true though. I hate
really
on
is.
all teams equally. You blame your
Equal
friends the hardest,
opportunity.
right?
Oh, I mean, I guess we're really good friends, huh, Blitz?
Yeah.
We're really, really good friends.
You would like to think that. Man, I really hope I just get more famous in the casting scene so I can stop hanging out with people like you and Charlie.
Oh my god.
Like, that's how I know when I made it. When Cinderin starts asking me
Where
to
did the
hang out,
Charlie flame just come in out of nowhere?
that's just life, man.
Alright, middle lane, we're going to see S4 gank up Ember Spirit. He's got no escape here, and he had both Admiral Bulldog and Minots ready to go, but it seemed like they did manage to see what was going on. And Spirit Breaker could have responded if they went for the dive. That actually would have been pretty nice for them. But
Right now, the Phantom Lancer is getting pretty heavily farmed by this Anti-Mage, and he can't afford that because Loda's timing for the Anti-Mage is going to be sick. Like, once he gets his Battle Fury, it's going to be a little bit hard for Abraxas to get aggressive in the jungle if they haven't done enough in the laning phase. Being able to pressure down towers or individually hurt the lanes, which they haven't really been able to do so far.
you know what this is? This is the life of an Earthshaker against PL. Like, in the beginning you're alright, but you just can never really go to lane with a whole lot of confidence, as he will be going down here, maybe? No! They just barely managed to pick up the kill. Still, though, Alliance very clearly walked away with a better trade-off, especially if they can get an extra kill, but Light Strike Array will be too late. Still a 2-for-1 exchange, especially on a lower-leveled Earthshaker. Well worth it for Alliance.
Oh, that's almost no trade at all. They don't mind that whatsoever. Especially since you get a kill on the core, and at the same time, you're able to pick up a kill on Minots, who needs kills like that. Because now he's going to rotate to the offlane, get quite a lot. You should get Arcane Boots with this too. And that's a Lina that didn't really have that much before that point, but now she can actually play the 4-position role, which might be even better for her in this situation.
Luffy's trying to soak up some experience in mid while the Ember Spirit turned through the hard camp. I'm not sure if there was actually a stack there, but I can't imagine there's too much of one. He's still only level 6 compared to S4, who's about to hit level 8.
Denied.
Alright, so Ake just continues to focus on getting levels. He's not really... What I really like about Ake is he doesn't soak up any of the lane experience that he can. Just tries to harass out, and this game around, Hone is just... He's not had the same time. Like...
I like this double stacking that Minots is doing. Middle lane, Ember Spirit? Not gonna be
that's
able to
done.
dodge that.
There's actually every single time.
I mean, this is their primary hero, right? The Ember Spirit, who should have been one to, if he does well in his lane, allow them to be able to fight early.
Yeah,
like
he's
an
their
Ember Spirit,
aggressive hero.
when he gets phase boots and drums, can definitely battle it out in the first 20 minutes, but he's just set so far behind. I don't see how Abraxas, especially with their supporting cast, are going to be able to do much.
He has 18 CS right now. Like, that's so rough. At 7 minutes into the game, that's CS that you would typically expect at like the 3-minute mark, or even the 4-minute mark if you're doing poorly. But the fact that he's there at this phase of the game is just, it doesn't get easier either, because the Queen of Pain is just going to continue to play really aggressive on you. Minots is going to pick up his level 6 at any time as well. And S4 just walks into a DV rune.
It actually changes for him as the 8-minute rune pops.
It's like, hold up, this isn't good enough.
Illusion,
Give it a
not
second.
good enough for an S4. Give me a double damage rune.
Ice-Frog's like, hold up, let me just roll this dice again for you.
You know, like Family Feud, where they make a guess, and then the host always goes to the board.
Yeah.
S4's over there. Show me double damage. Pone goes on to Ake here. They do have the ultimate out from Lotus, so if they can clear through enough of his mana, they may try and pop him. Not quite enough.
Yeah, he had like 300 HP and only 200 mana missing. That's a good thing about Tusk. 299 mana pool. You're not going to take a lot of damage as a result of that. That's going to deal barely anything, really.
Let's see, farm-wise between the Animage and the Phantom Lancer is actually a significant gap as well. Of course, Ascendancy did go down. Oh, Admiral Bulldog's been picked off here, it looks like. Trying to stack up that Ancient and ends up getting caught. Minots missing out on the Light Strike Ray. Luffy doesn't actually have the mana just yet, nor the cooldown to be able to charge away, so he will be right-clicked down. by S4.
That makes such a big difference too when your Lina's already level 6 at this phase of the game and she's just able to lead in, because you notice that S4 was about to throw down the ultimate, but then the Laguna Blade comes in, so he's like, okay, there's no need. And that does make a big difference because it means that he's got a lot of kill potential in this mid lane still.
Yeah, Ember Spirit has to play very careful if he drops down to around that 300 marker. Sonic Wave will just wipe right through that Flame Guard.
I keep forgetting that it's pure at all. Without the Aegis or anything. Like, that's such a ridiculous ultimate right now.
It certainly is. Then again, not too long ago, it was pretty garbage.
Yeah. The Queen of Pain, I hope she doesn't really see too big of a nerf. Like, I still enjoy seeing the hero in competitive play a lot. Yeah. Like, even in pub play, I don't feel like she's inherently terribly broken.
If we can bring back the Puck, I would be super happy.
Oh, Puck was such an interesting hero to watch. Invoker, too. Those are the two heroes that I hope really get to see some play in at up.
The old Puck Queen of Pain matchups. I don't think they could really do anything here. I mean, they don't have their level 6s. Like, that's the primary source of damage for a Spirit Breaker, and even a Tusk feels pretty weak without Walrus Punch.
Yeah, as far as he's got 3 levels of Blink. It looked like he wanted to be able to do something, and the Earthshaker actually just solo kills Silencer, which really shouldn't. You can't afford that.
S4 still has that ultimate. We'll throw it out on Ascendancy. Doesn't have the Doppelganger, so he just turns and fights as best he can.
All right, here we go.
Unfortunately, Luffy, he was charging on to a
It's do or die time.
Oh, no 17% there. Luffy, in fact. Can S4 actually go for something like this?
No,
no way.
There's no way.
He does have charge up again. In fact, the silence gets laid out. S4 blinks
Don't ever
away.
stop, buddy.
Luffy? No. He sees the TP, immediately backs down.
And it looks like S4 is going to go for the Orchid. It's just a classic counter to the Ember Spirit. Because the thing is about the Ember Spirit, you don't want to go for the Manta style if you can help it, but this almost forces you to go for the Manta style. In this case, like, you're kind of in a situation where if you go for the Battle Fury, you can never step out into the lane ever again.
Pone is still level 4. How is he still level 4?
He's had a rough life.
I feel like he's been level 4 for like 4 minutes now.
Well, the AM has boots and a Battle Fury at 11 minutes.
Yeah,
how do you expect him to move forward?
They've got a gigantic Ancient stack for him as well.
Oh, he's going to go for the Vlads for sure then. He's just going to pick up treads into Vlads.
Yeah.
This is going to be like a 20-minute Manta or something like that, if I remember correctly. This is quite a fast Battle Fury.
Invis room for S4. As a mid player, when you're playing Queen of Pain, how do you make the judgment between an Orchid game and an Aghanim Scepter?
I don't actually really like the Ags first. I think the cooldown on it is really nice, but aside from that, I think going for Orchid just allows you to pressure a lot better. And then going for something like Orchid BKB into something like the Assault Cuirass, I saw How do almost every game in TI, and I really fell in love with that build. Because I feel like it's just a little bit more stability that you don't have to rely on your ults, except for major team fights.
Now, on this game, it's particularly strong against PL and Ember Spirit, but going back to that, you said you usually don't like it. What games do you think Aghanims is warranted?
I think if you're playing, for example, the off, or if you're losing by like quite a big margin.
Okay.
Like if S4 had a terrible start this game, it's one of those items.
Ember Spirit. He didn't realize he was going to be caught here. The Global Silence, though, will be able to save our Ember Spirit. He jumps out to safety.
That would have been a for sure kill. Like the cask comes out at the same time as the Enchant Totem. There's almost no way for him to escape there. But you still have to blow the Global Silence pretty defensively, which is something you don't want to do. Especially when you're trying to, eventually, you want to get aggressive on the Anti-Mage. Like, how else are you going to kill him at this point? You've got a Tusk that's level 5 at 13 minutes. Like, your support Spearbreaker has more levels than him. Like, this is going to be really rough.
Smoke up. S4, with both his Invis Rune and his Smoke, is going to be able to, lead his allies to a successful gank, or at least should be anyway. Ember Spirit might be the first target here. Maybe they're not going to find anything unless they want to dive underneath his tower. Pone goes perhaps just a bit too far forward, will be fissured up, and it looks like bursting down before he can get off the snowball.
Minats almost has the Dual Scepter on Lina at the same time. Loda just finishes taking top tower, so he's got I'm pretty sure he's going to go for the Vlads, yeah. He's got a lot of components of it already queued up.
S4 charge. Luffy continues it, has the ultimate, and he get that extra bash though to be able to lock down S4. No, he doesn't get it. In fact, if anything, there's going to be a turnaround kill to get the Fissure and manage to finish off the Spirit Breaker. Ascendancy will be able to back out though. That was a very optimistic charge, and it felt like our Phantom Lights aren't even see a lance out of him. Felt like a bit of miscoordination as well.
That's the frustration play.
Yeah.
You feel like you're not making anything happen on the map. Like, look how far they're diving now.
Snowball onto Admiral Bulldog. They do manage to stun him up, but Ascendancy couldn't get off the lance in time. They're going to try and dive in deep, but this is way too deep as Minot has already cleaned up the Tusk. The lance will be able to finish off Admiral Bulldog, but at what a cost. Ascendancy going to have the Doppelganger to be able to jump away. A double kill as a result for Minot.
Again, this just... You remember there was a time period where he stops the charge because he sees the TP, and he's just playing Disciplined. This feels, honestly, just like a frustration charge to me. It was like a... Well, it's optimistic, but whatever, we'll go for it. And even going for the Earthshaker, who had already backed himself all the way up into that area, you have to hard commit so much just to get the kill. 100% not worth it, but I almost feel like they kind of agreed, and they were like, we have to do something about this right now. We're not getting anything completed on the map.
If diving that bottom tier 1 tower wasn't the play, though, what is for Abraxas? What's the best way for them to get some kind of handle in this game? You start burning through your smokes?
I think you actually have to start burning through your smokes. Look for Loda when you can actually kill him. Because as the game goes on, it just gets more and more rough. Yeah. Because right now, S4 is always going to be surrounded by supports. It's like, the part of the problem with going for the Orchid is that you're incredibly squishy, right? Once you commit your Blink and your Orchid, it's pretty easy to kill the Queen of Pain. So people are always going to filter around her. Like, Bulldog is almost always going to sit near her. Whereas the Anti-Mage is going to be giving complete freedom. Because you don't want to farm around an Anti-Mage, right? You don't want to just, as a support, you don't want to sit behind them and wait for things to happen. If he gets ganked, then you TP and support. Otherwise, you don't just sit and watch him play the jungle game.
Is Ember Spirit actually going for Manta first against this Orchid?
He has to.
Yeah.
His Battle Fury plus anything would be so late.
Yeah.
He's already really far behind on that Manta. I'd be surprised if he got it at 20 minutes.
Alright. Loda, now that he's got Vlads, will start making use of this gigantic Ancient stack that they have for him. And Abraxas, they haven't been able to win a fight all game long. There's no way they can contest this. It's the Animage. He's going to get pretty close to that Yasha at this rate. Just after... Oh, the Orchid goes out, and at the speed of light will be ticking out. No. The bottle actually heal him up just enough to stay alive. S4 didn't actually get out the Orchid before the Sonic Wave. I think he thought that the animation... He would be able to get the Orchid before the animation hit the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, I think he just played it a little bit impatiently. He was like, oh, I'm going to get the kill anyways. It should probably be fine. Okay, so AM was 5 minutes faster than the 16 average, but that's probably with Treads.
Yeah.
Treads is common.
Global Silence gets laid down. My Nuts is still going to be picked off, but Alliance have the opportunity to fight as they're fighting underneath their tier 2 tower. Here comes Loda. Echo Flame locks down 2. Luffy will be controlled. Aki actually gets back a fair amount of distance to get up a really good Death Ward, but Ascendancy is beginning to clear through some of these supports. The Fusel does its work. He goes on to S4 next. He still has enough mana to be able to blink away. They're going to try and fight this one. Ascendancy and Pwn are both low. Doppelganger to the side, and Loda will just clean up hero after. Oh, now the Silencer comes back to try and finish off S4, but can't quite get it, and he knows now that his life is sacrificed.
That's a 5-man wipe. The Anti-Mage gets so much as a result of that. He came in for the tail end of that. That's a full Yasha. Has the recipe, just 2100 gold away from the Manta. That's going to be like a 22 minute Manta plus Battle Fury Vlads. Nobody in this field right now is near the net worth of this Anti-Mage. Like, he more than doubles the Ember Spirit, actually. In fact, after this Roshan plus, like, 2 more Ancient stacks, if the Ember Spirit dies, it might even be triple at some point.
Roshan should be free for the taking. Alliance are not going to have too many issues getting him. Abraxas just have to hope and pray at this point in time that Alliance, when they attempt to push in, make some sort of drastic error. Because at 19 minutes in, Alliance are already 10,000 gold ahead. and the same metric and experience.
It's just the nature of the matchup. And at bottom, they're going to go for Luffy right now, and the stun
Just the
will follow.
Orchid. Oh, the Fisher actually separates the two. Loda still going to try and get him, and almost goes for the ultimate there for the mini stun, but can't quite get it. He'll actually charge right through everybody. Ake bounced around. Still, though, Alliance will take this tier 1 and probably just keep on going at this rate. Take some objectives, especially with a pick off and a silencer, making it that much easier.
Yeah, they're not even going to blow any ultimates for that. They know that it's a free kill. Especially when the Lina already has a Yules, she can pretty much kill most of the supports by herself. At top,
Owned, Orchid, and Admiral Bulldog with the Blink Dagger.
it's not giving up anything.
No. And they still make it very difficult for both the Ember Spirit as well as the Phantom Lancer to split push, which is their only real way to buy time. But there's so many different takeoffs, Eul Scepter, and they can't quite get them. They're actually going to go for the Ember Spirit with the Orchid about to tick down. They will finish him off. As for, well, he's actually going to be fine. That Spirit Breaker realizes this is not a fight they can win as Ascendancy goes down underneath the tower. Couldn't even finish off the Lina support.
There's just too many heroes flooding in at all times. If you notice in Alliance, they went for the ultimate greed play there. They send 2 heroes top. They continue to push that tier 2 bottom because they just feel so confident. The Manta style is just about to be completed on Loda, who, yeah, finishes at about the 20-minute mark with the Vlads. So we're about right there. And he's going to hit his level 16 at 20 minutes.
Thanks for including me in your prediction.
You know, I got to keep the duo afloat. It's a duo, man. You're only as strong as your weakest, Austin.
Tusk, Mech, Manta. Adam's just blown in for Alliance. The Tusk Mech, I'm just not sure how it's really going to be able to save anybody on Abraxas at this point.
Yeah.
They still have no Manta for the Ember Spirit, not even close.
The problem right now for them is the level situation is just horrid. Like, the Silencer's level 8, you've got 2 level 9 heroes when you're already dealing with a hero that's level 16. Like, this is going to be so rough for them. Like, they had such a promising start to game 1, and in this game 2, I feel like they almost picked a little bit too reactionary. I think they should have just stuck with their guns like they did. But it felt like they just didn't really trust themselves in game 2. But and this is still a really talented team, but Alliance just, it felt like they had their number in this game 2 so far.
Yeah. Man. Loda, level 16 by 21 minutes. The experience is insane. He's got 15,000 net worth. That leads up to almost 700 gold per minute.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nearly 3 times the Ember Spirits right now, who is just struggling. Like, he had such a tough laning phase because of the rotations by Admiral Bulldog.
It's about to get real tough. The Orchid, Light Strike Array. Global Silence gets laid down, but the Light Strike Array are already stunned him up. The Orchid makes sure there's no escape for the Ember Spirit, and also tips the last bit of damage necessary to finish him off.
Yeah, and that's now the Global Silence used too. I think that's going to mean high ground for Alliance. Like, I think that's going to signal to them. They're like, the level advantage is just a little bit too severe. We've got a Solar Crest. There's no way that they can kill Loda. Like, there's just...
You could just see the way the Lions are playing. As you said earlier on, when they stopped the split push at top and the split push at middle while also pushing down that bottom lane, like, they're pulling very greedily. You could see Alliance, like, even Admiral Bulldog, just blinking forward and going for the Yellow Fisher to see if he gets the pick off. You know, block somebody outside of the base. You've got all this mana to be able to play around with. Jesus, he just gets bursted down. Sonic Wave, Laguna Blade, everything being thrown his way. Tier 3 tower's gonna go down, no buyback from the Phantom Lancer. So if Abraxas want to stop the middle lane of Rax from going down, they're gonna have to fight 4 versus 5. But it seems like an impossible task at this point. One comes in from the side, but immediately Eul Scepter. Light Strike Array will catch him once again. The Orchid is there to stop the Snowball. Luffy actually gets caught by the Fisher from Admiral Bulldog, and he'll go down as well. My nuts. Picking up a mega kill streak as Loda finishes up the Rax, and GG is called. Abraxas, they put up a good fight in game 1 against Alliance, but after that loss, really seemed to lose control in game number 2 at Alliance. Well, they're back, at least for now. I mean, through the first round of the ESL 1 New York qualifying.
Yeah, but I think they expect this win, or they should.
Oh, yeah.
But I think they're going to be pretty satisfied. They'll probably rewatch game 1 and try to shore up on the little errors that they made, but